The PlayStation 3 used to be cheap to collect for, then Sony tried to shut down the digital storefront, which caused physical game prices to skyrocket. And now it's been a couple of months since Sony has reversed the decision and prices have stabilized, but will they drop any further? Welcome to Retronomics, the series that follows price trends in video games, and today we're following up on PlayStation 3 prices, which have absolutely skyrocketed after the announcement of the closing of the digital storefront. And Sony did eventually reverse their decision for the time being, and naturally a lot of people assumed that prices would drop back down to levels before that announcement. And prices are, well, let's just take a look at the games that I reviewed in the last video. But first, all prices are from PriceCharting.com and they are accurate as of the recording of this video, which is July 7th, 2021. And I also take into account sold eBay listings as well. So if you like this type of content, please consider subscribing for future Retronomic episodes. First up, Puppeteer. Now, I made a lot of people mad in the last video by saying that this wasn't a good game for the price, but now the price is a bit more appropriate with some copies selling for $50. This game will probably remain around that price for the foreseeable future. It's been common for a while that games that are critically acclaimed but didn't sell well initially remain undervalued until a large group of people notice it, and then it kind of stays that way for a long time. I personally wouldn't mind paying the current rate based on the quality of this game. Asura's Wrath is probably going to hover around the current charting price for the foreseeable future, with a couple of bumps along the way. The Xbox 360 version is of course significantly less than the PlayStation 3 version, but if you must have that Blu-ray version that is less prone to scratches, then buying it now would probably be beneficial. Shadows of the Dam is going back up a bit after the first spike. The game is probably going to fluctuate a bit for the foreseeable future, so I would keep an eye out for a price that you're comfortable with and snag it before the next spike. The PAL version is significantly cheaper though, and so is the Xbox 360 version. Lollipop Chainsaw is steadily dropping in value and it probably has some room to go, but sold listings are fairly consistent. The Xbox 360 version hasn't budged a bit if you want to save some money on this game. If you're a PlayStation 3 collector and must have this game, there are a handful of listings available for less than the current price charting price with free shipping, so if you're patient, I'm sure that you can find a great price. Folklore has dropped considerably, but it might level out now and will remain at this price for the foreseeable future. I would pick it up now and feel comfortable that the price isn't going to fluctuate wildly judging on the sold listings. 3D Dot Game Heroes has dropped considerably since my last video, but it is creeping back up. Like I mentioned before, this game isn't as rare as people think it is. It is an Atlas game and it is quirky, that's exclusive to the PlayStation 3, but it probably won't jump in price drastically like people think it will. I'd keep an eye out for a good deal and snag it when you find one. Yakuza Dead Souls has plateaued, and it's probably a good idea to keep an eye out for deals on this game, especially since there are some sold listings going for above the price charting list price. The PAL version of this game is slightly cheaper, so you might want to wait for the USA price that you're comfortable with and snag that copy. El Shaddai has peaked, and there are a lot of sold listings that suggest that the price has some room to drop. You might be able to snag it for less than what it was going for in March, but if you really want to save some money, of course, the Xbox 360 version is available for less than $20. Splatterhouse has peaked recently, but it is on the rise again. The Xbox 360 version is half the price, so I don't think that the PlayStation 3 version is going to go too much higher for the foreseeable future. If you are looking for this game on the PlayStation 3, then this is probably a price that you're going to have to deal with, but there are some sold listings for less than what Price Starting has it listed for, so I think there's hope. Silent Hill Downpour has dropped a little bit in June, but now it's spiking back up, probably because of the announcement that there will be a new Silent Hill entry. You might want to wait out the price increase because it'll probably come back down in the next couple of months. Aqua Pazza is on its plateau phase, so now would be a time to pick it up. I don't think that it'll drop in value anytime soon. It's an Atlas game and they tend to hold their value, so if you're on the hunt for this game, I would snag it now. For Fighting Climax, nothing really has changed on this game, so I still would recommend picking it up now if you haven't already from my previous video. Persona Arena Ultimax has leveled off and will probably remain at its current price for quite some time. If you were waiting on picking this up, I think that you can find a decent price and not worry about it going down too much or up in the next couple of months. King of Fighters 13 has peaked at its highest value in May, but it is still seeing a handful of copies go for well over what Price Starting has it listing as. I would keep an eye on this because it is possible to get a deal, but I don't expect the price to come down to what it was at the beginning of the year. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle is steadily rising, and JoJo is still pretty popular, and the game will retain its value for some time. These weird Japanese anime fighter games didn't really sell well in the USA when they were first released, so while it might drop in price in the coming months, I don't foresee that it's getting to its pre-pandemic prices in the near future, so it might be worth it to snag it now before it gets way too expensive. Rambo the video game has some sold listings for less than Price Starting's current price, which could be an indicator that prices will drop a bit over time, but don't expect it to be dirt cheap. If you find a price that you're comfortable with, I would snag it now because it's probably going to be this way for the foreseeable future. Blitz the League 2 is dropping in value really fast, and it is cheaper than what it was in November, and it's probably going to settle right above what it was going for pre-pandemic. I'd keep an eye on this game because you're probably going to snag a deal, or you can just wait on it to see if it'll drop any further. Africa is finally cresting after a steady climb in value since March of this year. This game will probably remain at its new value for a while with some dips in between. This game was hard to find when it was first released, and I don't think that we're going to see a re-release anytime soon. Is the game worth the high price tag? Well, I really don't think so. I didn't think that it was worth it when I reviewed it when it was $50, so unless you're a completionist, I'd wait to see if it goes down or at least settles in value. Ratchet and Clank Into the Nexus. Now these games are probably going to hold their value for a while. The game franchise is still seeing new entries with the PlayStation 5 version that just came out, and that keeps the franchise value steady. I would probably snag a copy now rather than later because I don't think that we'll see any significant dips in the foreseeable future. Dragon Guard 3 is an action RPG published by Square Enix that didn't see a big critical reception, and the price is starting to slow down. It's a late release, so it might keep its value going forward, but I would still keep an eye out for a price that you're comfortable with and snatch it up if you see a good deal. So that's the Retronomics episode for PlayStation 3 prices for July of 2021. And as you can see, prices are starting to stabilize, but time will tell if they're going to drop further. But if you were planning on buying PlayStation 3 games now, I think focusing on the rarer games is probably going to be a better bet, because those are probably going to remain at their current prices more so than a game like Puppeteer. I will be keeping an eye on the prices and release another video in September, so you'll want to be subscribed and turn on notifications for that video. And if you like this video, give it a like and share it with those who might find it interesting. And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Nicktendo. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Super Nicktendo, and I'll see you next time.